to Two Roads Crossing, a podcast production of the Christian Veterinary Mission. Do you wonder how your faith fits together with your profession? Well, join us as we explore how to live well at the intersection of two roads crossing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Two Roads Crossing, a podcast of Christian Veterinary Mission. I'm your host, Curtis Gibbs, and today we're on the road with the Region Rep team. These are the wonderful people that get to work in workplace and student ministries, and of which is the team that I get to be blessed to be a part of. So there are going to be 7 of us here today, and our main focus today is to talk about this year, particularly the new things or what we like and love about Real Life Real Impact. These are the events that happen regionally for students and for professionals that we just really, really believe in, and we really, really want you to be able to attend and to think about that. So each rep is just going to say a little something about their meeting and their why of why they love Real Life Real Impact, and we hope that it will be something that will nudge you in the direction of going this year. Most of these events are in January and February, and you can find them on the website at cvm.org/RLRI. But before we do that, just a word as we are kind of near the end of the year as well, that you may have seen an email from us about Real Life Real Impact, but just in a larger picture view of workplace and student ministries. And again, we're on every college campus. We represent all the states, Canada and the Caribbean, this little team of 7 spreads out across as much as we can of vet med to give opportunities to serve through CVM as well as serve the veterinary techs and vet students and vet professionals and practice managers and all that. But I want to raise up for you something to think about in that we would also need your support in the upcoming year and years. We had a lovely donor that sponsored workplace and student ministries for a long time, but that giving has gone away, and so we are looking to funding of our events and or our programs going forward. So if you've been touched by our professional ministries, by Real Life Real Impact, to sustain the student ministries on all the campuses, this is where we come in together, and we would ask you to humbly and prayerfully consider being a regular donor is the best way to do it. You can find that at Lauren, is it cvm.org/US giving, perhaps?
Exactly.
There you go. We'll try to have a link to find that, but yeah, of course you can find that anywhere. Or if it's just giving to a specific event, one-time donations are great, but we are looking to sustain and even grow these ministries going forward. It's lovely to have 7 reps. It might be great to have 14 reps, have smaller regions and even serve them better. Who knows? But that all is obviously giving dependent. And so with this change in our funding structure, we would just love for you to consider partnering with us, as well as our region reps here are deputation based. That's like our long-term missionaries are as well. We try to raise our own funding to do our role, which also takes pressure off the general giving to CVM. So if you feel particularly linked with your region rep, you can follow them, follow their letters. They write prayer letters, which also, help stimulate giving. And we're all trying to grow in that area as we're also trying to work on the general funding going forward. So we humbly ask you to consider that as well this time of year. All right, awesome. Well, on to what we really wanted to talk about here, which is our Real Life Real Impact events. This is probably coming to you in December. A lot of these are January and February. There's plenty of time but it's getting closer to time that we need you to register. So hopefully this will spur you to jump right to it. So we just wanted to just highlight each event a little bit and hear a little bit more about them. So we're going to start with Lisa as she tells us about hers.
Good morning, Curtis. Thanks for having me on this morning. And I'm Lisa, and I'm the rep and director for CVM Canada. So I represent all the schools across Canada. And our event this year, our Real Life Real Impact, will be held in Sambro Head, Nova Scotia, in Atlantic, Canada, for the first time, February 15th to 17th, 2025. And we are super excited about bringing the event to that part of the country, as we've never done that before. So if I think about the why why we do real life, real impact, and what makes it really, really powerful. One of the things that comes to mind is the value of the relationships that are formed and how those relationships extend beyond the weekend. Really, I think of three specific relationships that extend, and those are student to professional. We see mentorships come out of those relationships that start at real life, real impact. We see opportunities for externships and internships and for future employment as well. Then student to student, of course, in Canada, with our distances being so vast between the schools, really the students in a lot of cases would never have the opportunity to meet one another, but they do the retreat. And that starts to build a friendship with people, on the opposite side of the country in many cases. And it's also the beginning of their career networks as well. So really valuable. And then professional to professional as well. When professionals find like-minded individuals who love the Lord, who are serving him and want to continue to do that through their careers, it's a really fantastic place for them to find each other. And we actually have a professional fellowship that just launched in November. And the impetus for that group was the relationships that were formed at Real Life Room.
Mm. I love that story, Lisa. And that, things come out of this weekend. I mean, it's a short, concentrated time that a lot of things are birthed out of. I think it's also important to highlight that we'd love you to go to the event that's in your region, but you can go to any event. And so when I hear Nova Scotia, I kind of go, that sort of sounds awesome. So, you would accept people, Lisa, to grab their passports and come visit you, I would assume, if they're not Canadian?
Absolutely. Yeah, we'd love to have you join us. I've heard, I haven't spent time in Atlantic Canada in the winter. I've heard that it can be pretty extreme. There could be snow, ice storms, whatever, but it also could be just beautiful and fantastic. And we've got lots of, cool things planned for the weekend.
Love it. So pack your flip-flops, head to Canada. Kara, how about you?
Yeah, I'm Dr. Kara Song. I cover the Northeast region, so that's going to be Michigan, Ohio, all the way up to Maine. And our real life, real impact in the region this year is for kind of geared towards the Northeast. It's going to be in Rome, New York, January 24th to 26th, 2025. And, definitely agree with Lisa. These relationships, buildings, and externships, they're definitely very important for this weekend. I'm going to get a little bit Northeast specific. So if you think about the culture of the Northeast, you kind of think that it is dark spiritually. And what do I mean by that? I mean, I grew up there, and religion was pretty much a taboo subject. You did not talk about it. Many people in the area are not religious. And you just really don't know who around you is another Christian because you don't speak about it. You don't talk about it. No one else talks about it. And so I had lots of classmates or coworkers growing up that are Christian that I didn't know about. And that's very true for our veterinary professionals and our students in that region as well. And so this results in them feeling isolated and like they're the only one, and that they're trying to shine a light in a dark place and their light's going to get snuffed out. And so this real life, real impact, it's a great time for these professionals and students to come together to get to know each other through those relationship buildings and externships that come out of this. But it's where the students can learn about how to live out at the intersection of their faith and vet med from these people who are living it out in this region where it is hard to do that. And so it creates a network between all these people that are trying to shine a light in this dark place, and that will hopefully help them keep shining that light. And it also, I had a student say that it shows them that they have value before they graduate. A lot of them think they don't have any value until they graduate, but at Real Life, Real Impact, they get poured into and shown that they have value and that they can be supported by these professionals. And I want to take a moment and just thank our donors too, because it's because of them that these relationships are given a chance to form, especially in the Northeast where it's much needed.
Kara, I love that. And that's right. And I should take the chance to say that I serve in the West as a region rep as well. And, there's kind of that spiritual but not religious vibe out here that has been studied, by faith. So the Northeast and the West, particularly the Pacific Northwest, right? Each of us serves in a different region, and each of them have kind of different, things, baggage that comes with faith. And we love to have, these real life, real impact events that are able to serve, the people in that region and give them a voice. That's a good word, Kara. I should highlight that mine are going to be in the West are going to be Jan 17th to 19th at Oregon State, Corvallis, Oregon. So we kind of rotate between Washington and Oregon. So we'd love to have everyone in that area out, and then Western in Pomona, which is outside of LA in California, is also a host this year, February 14 to 16. So we're looking forward to those events in the West. Nancy Moore, you used to serve the West. Now you're in the Southeast. Tell us a little bit about your area.
Thanks, Curtis. Hi, guys. Dr. Nancy Moore, very blessed to be with you. Excited for Real Life, Real Impact. Wow. I think one of my favorite things about Real Life, Real Impact is seeing the people that come find Christ or grow closer to Him. So it's really an amazing time where relationships on earth, we connect, right? And yet sometimes hearing the testimony of who the Lord is in someone else's life helps you grow closer to the Lord. We are very intentional during our time throughout the weekend. You'll find we are praying, whether it be individual or together. So come on the Southeast group to Tennessee. We're going to be at LMU. It's going to be January 31st through February 2nd, 2025. Also get to swing across over to Oregon and join y'all there. But a couple things that I would say are some of my whys that I always started to share with you would be seeing the depth that can happen of sharing who Christ is in our life during really hard times. You're going to see real life situations even happen right before your eyes where crises come in the moment we are there and God takes over, and you just see His love and His intentionality to show that He never leaves us nor forsakes us, that He is detailed. And then just even seeing the power of prayer and even healing of people. So Lord, we thank you for what you've done for us, that you've brought us to Real Life, Real Impact times. So just really thankful. So come on mission with us as even perhaps you can't come, maybe you'll send a student, maybe you'll send another professional, help us send them. That'd be great.
Thank you, Nancy. And you highlight something too that coming into CVM, a number of years ago, I kind of was even like, what is real life, real impact? We think about it because we're used to it. We've all been. But I remember asking our, CEO emeritus, Dr. Kit Flowers, like, what's the name mean? What is it? And he said, well, the whole idea was for it to be about real life and for it to have real impact. So the talks, the fellowship, the worship, the prayer, it really is close to the bone, if you will, of how to put your faith into your life and into your profession or into your studies. And for non-vets as well, just your faith into life going forward. It's about real life and real impact, nothing theoretical, but right close to being in practice. So thank you, Nancy. Nancy Crutch, how about your events?
Hi, I'm Nancy Crutch, and I serve the South Central states. My location will be in Oklahoma, hosted by Oklahoma State in Stillwater, January 17th through 19th. And my story, I was new last year to the team, and so I worked under Elizabeth Mendoza at the North Central Real Life Real Impact just to learn how to execute. And I met a young lady, Bree Hargis, there, who is a vet tech student. And she really got engaged with our organization as a result of Real Life, Real Impact. She went on a short-term mission trip. And then I, with my practice management background, I have a real heart for the support staff that work in practice. And so she's really charismatic and got her vet tech student friends and vet tech friends involved with us. We started a support staff study, an online community She's actually helping to lead that now. She spoke at our CVM conference on my support staff panel, and she's just been a real blessing. I was so grateful that at mine last year in Texas, I had a number of pre-vet and vet tech students come. And so I want to strongly encourage those of you out there to send your support staff or to engage the tech students.
Amen. Amen. Evie, Dr. Mendoza, how about your events? Why don't you tell us about those?
Hey, yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Mendoza. I'm the North Central Region Rep, and our Real Life Real Impact will be also January 17th through the 19th, but we'll be up at the University of Minneapolis in St. Paul. So we'd love to have you join us there. I think one of my favorite things about Real Life Real Impact is watching the CVF groups come together and travel to a different location, a different veterinary school for their event, for their regional event. A couple of years ago, we were hosting Real Life Real Impact at Iowa State, and I had an Iowa State student come to the event, and she had a great time. And then the next year, we hosted the event at Kansas State. Well, that Iowa State CVF group got together, they planned their transportation, and they all came and had a great weekend at Kansas State. At the end of that weekend, that student who came the first time at her Iowa State RLRI, she actually made a decision to give her life to the Lord. And it was so incredible, such a joyful moment. But what I love is that high, that mountaintop of Real Life Real Impact, it didn't end there. She was surrounded by our conference, by people there, but she was also surrounded by her CVF group. And so when they left the conference after she had made that decision, she traveled back with that group that prayed for her, that group that brought her into their weekly Bible study back on their home campus. And she's a vibrant part of that school community and that CVF group now. So just seeing that Real Life Real Impact really brings people together, people that are from different areas of the country, but also just those CVF groups. It knits them together. It strengthens that group so that in the subsequent years, those groups will remain strong on their campuses. So I just love that. And as donors, again, we thank you. I've seen donors give money so that students can rent a van and come to Real Life Real Impact. I've seen donors pay for gas. I've seen donors pile students into their car and say, here we go, let's go. So we thank you all for that. Come join us in Minneapolis. It probably might be as cold as Canada, so we'll see, but we'd love to have you.
Love it. And you're right. Like some of these events, I know sometimes they're a little further away. Right now, our model is regional, and by nature of just the staffing size and financing, we can only put some of these together, and so some years are a further drive. But I've never heard anybody say, I wish I had stayed home. And so we just would love for you to make them if you can, even if it's further away, and just keep an eye on each year because we kind of rotate them around so that hopefully they'll get closer if they're a little further away this year. To our Workplace and Student Ministry Director, Lauren Charles.
Hello, hello. So I am Lauren Charles and I cover the Mid-East region. And we don't actually have a Mid-East Real Life Real Impact this year, but we have a Midwest Real Life Real Impact at Purdue. And so that will be January 24th through the 26th. And I'm really excited about that one. They haven't hosted in 10 years. And to also be at the Lincoln Memorial one, the Southeast Real Life Real Impact. So I'm super excited about both of those. And when I think about my why for what I love most about the thing I love most about CVM, Real Life Real Impact is probably my favorite thing about CVM. And I think about the name that you already alluded to a few times. So we really want to have an impact through real life situations. And so for me, it's kind of the one at a time impact that we're able to have on students and professionals, and that you guys as participants are able to have on each other as well. So years ago, I was at University of Tennessee in the fall, and I found out that one of my student leaders over the summer had found out she was a married student leader. She found out she was pregnant, and it was not the timing that they were looking for at all. She was going into her second year of vet school, and she was devastated by this. So between the nausea and the shock. She spent a week on the couch that summer. She was just really upset by this news. Obviously, wanted children, but not then. And so she made it through that first semester. And in January, she had that baby. And I remember this very well because I was 8 months pregnant at the time as well. And her school was hosting Real Life Real Impact that year. And so she came to Real Life Real Impact. Still, she loved this baby, but she was just as in shock as she was when she found out she was pregnant, probably because she's trying to go through vet school with this tiny baby. And so because they were hosting, she came to Real Life Real Impact, and we just really connected because I had this baby ready to come out and she just had this new one in her arms. And afterwards, I still remember what she said. She wrote down on her comment card, she said, "I came empty and tired, and I am leaving refreshed and joyful where I am." And I don't think that was just Hannah. I don't think that was just a student who was postpartum, had a really hard semester. I think that can be any of us. I think we can all be really tired and really worn out in this profession and the life that surrounds the profession as well. But we can be refreshed by this opportunity to get together with like-minded believers in the faith at this intersection, at this crossroads of the veterinary profession and our faith. And then we can just leave refreshed and reminded of the joys of the profession and the joys of our faith journey, and hopefully go forward just fulfilled for the next year until we can get back together with this group and be refreshed again.
Amen. I mean, and there's so many, I mean, that's just a story of, or all these are stories of, huge turns and things that have come out of this. And yet there's also, even the ancillary benefits, the fellowship, that we have, connecting with other professionals and realizing we're not alone. Some people, find coworkers, people to hire. Some people come and find places to work, maybe students and or professionals looking for each other. I think about myself coming out of the local church, and we used to say, do you, when someone would join the church, with your prayers, would you do so with your prayers, your presence, your gifts, your service, and your witness? And, please do pray for us. We've alluded to the need for gifts and giving to help out. But your witness, you are a witness there, whether you're speaking or not. Your service, you might find opportunities to serve short-term missions and other things, long-term missions and such, local outreaches like Dr. Moore does in Tampa with the urban outreach. But then also, your presence. I would just kind of end this. Your presence is a gift to us and to all those that are there. We put these things on, we line them up, we line up the catering and the food and the lodging and the hotels and the sites or all that. And we love it, but we do it so that we can provide an opportunity for all of this to happen. And when people show up and actually come to them, it means a lot to us as reps. So we just want to thank you all that have gone before and that might be coming this year. Even if you're just going to come and sit and just take it all in, it is such a gift to us. So we thank you for that. There are other real life, real impact testimonies out there, even on our podcast. You can look back to Cora Farley's story, for example, on it's one of the earlier episodes, August of 2023. She shares about her experience at Real Life Real Impact. So, again, we thank you for that. Reps, any last thing that needs to be said before we close out today?
We can't wait to see you all there.
That's
It's our
exactly
favorite
right.
time to connect with all our people.
And if you're a student and you're listening to this, don't let the schoolwork bog you down and think that you can't come. We want to see you even if you have schoolwork. We'll have time for you to have study breaks. And I'll just tell you, I had one that I went to that was an 8-hour drive. I had an exam coming up. I didn't study and I still made it as a doctor. So you can too. And so we'd love to have you, whether you need to study or not.
And I would encourage you just to trust God. If He's putting it on your heart as you hear our voices, take action. He says that to be hearers of His word, but not doers, we're deceiving ourselves. So I want to encourage you, if God's got your heart right now, that you should come, or maybe you should pay for someone to send, do it, because you're trusting Him. You're taking action in faith. God is faithful. We'll see you there.
And for the events happening in Canada for US, and I should also highlight, we also do them in the Caribbean in the spring, later in the spring. So Ross and St. George and even St. Matthews, we look forward to having those events as well. We just ask you all to consider joining in with us and attending and or supporting these events. We thank you, and we just hope you this will be part of you living well at the intersection of faith and veterinary medicine, Two Roads Crossing.
Thank you for listening to Two Roads Crossing, a podcast production of the Christian Veterinary Mission. If you were blessed by this content, like and subscribe so that you are alerted when new content is released. If you would like more information about CVM, or if you have questions, comments, or topical suggestions, you can find us online at www.cvm.org. Or you can contact us by emailing podcast@cvm.org. God has a plan for the nations, and that plan includes you. We pray that CVM has encouraged you to live out your calling with confidence and competence. So, until next time, may the voice of the shepherd ring loud and clear as you follow him in faith to the intersection of Two Roads Crossing.